Honestly, I didn't think I would have to make another one of these videos, but then again, I am still black, so here we are again. Some of the things that I might say might sound funny, but I do sometimes use humor to cope with difficult situations. I have my laptop, so I'm not just reporting my opinions, I'm also reporting facts again. But my opinions this time I feel are very important because today we are addressing my university. And if you don't know what school I go to Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. You know, I'm not very happy with Tulane right now. And there are a lot of students of color, especially the black students, who are not happy with Tulane right now either. So if anyone from Tulane is watching this and is white or is higher up, I triple dog dare you to try to suspend me or expel me or silence me. Until you hold your white students accountable for their actions, do not come after me for telling the truth. Because your university wants to cover up and protect their white students. Why? Because they pay full price for your institution? I'm black. I pay full price for your institution without any aid. So you need to be protecting me like you are protecting your white student. You don't need to be protecting me because my family pays full price. You need to be protecting me, especially now because I am a student of color at your university, which I was never wanted at and which I am still not welcomed at. I'm sorry, I don't tell lies. And if you're a white student at Tulane, obviously you are not going to experience the same things that I experienced as a black woman on campus. Okay, so everyone's been in quarantine, and if you haven't noticed, lots of people have been very bold to say how they feel about Black Lives Matter, black people. They've been very bold. And also during this time, people have been able to dig up past information from people and expose them. So this is how we are here today. I've sent a lot of messages to Tulane. I've submitted reports, and I've even directly tagged you on my Instagram. So I don't know why action is still not being done, because there are hundreds of people who are emailing you, who are tagging you, who are trying to show you the kinds of students that are at your institution and who are clearly not following the same values that you quote unquote have. So our good old president released a little email the other day. This is what he said, quote unquote, "We cannot simply state that we are against racism. We must endeavor to be actively anti-racist." Our president said this in an email to the full community. So the fact that our president is saying this, yet our university is not taking any action in holding these racist students accountable, like what is this? This is BS. So, I wrote, "I'm very disappointed with Tulane University. It is the university's job to protect us, and I and fellow students of color are not comfortable returning to campus this fall. You are condoning racist and discriminatory behavior. You claim we cannot simply state we are against racism. We must endeavor to be actively anti-racist. But yet you allow this. This is absolutely disgusting. Is it because a vast majority of your white students pay full price for this school? Well, I'm black, and I pay full price without any aid. Therefore, if you're going to protect these white students, you need to protect me too. I do not care if that girl's messages are from high school. She is responsible for her own actions. You're making statements that include, quote unquote, her phone was stolen, and quote unquote, the texts were written without her knowledge. This is BS. Stop making excuses for your white students' actions. When you make statements like so, you are giving an opportunity to your white students to make excuses for their own or friends' racist actions. As a black student, I am not comfortable with this girl on campus, and I know if you ask any other students, especially the black students, they are not comfortable either. You as a university have a job to protect your students, especially now you need to be protecting your students of color. And of course, I always have to end it. I'm not giving you a dime after I graduate. Clearly, I am not important enough to you. So don't ask for my financial support." Obviously, I have to bring up, because Tulane loves to say that they want to be more diverse, but are not putting actions to it. If you want to make this school more diverse, you need to provide financial assistance and scholarships for students of color. Not every student can pay full tuition for this school. I'm absolutely disgusted that I pay full price for a school that doesn't care or respect me. This is the backstory. If anyone goes to Tulane and knows the whole story, please correct me in the comments, but this is what I know. So in 2016, there was this girl, I'm not naming names, but let's call her Becca. So recently, messages were surfaced from a group chat that Becca was in. And it included stuff like, "I want to lynch you," Of course she said that. And hold on. Becca said, I will lynch all of you, you effing. Also in the messages, she used some code names for the N-word. She's also seen in her text messages, like, saying 3/5, which, like, if you don't know, like, they're referring to black people as, like, 3/5 of a person and not a whole person. They were also joking about Emmett Till's and Malcolm X's murders, which, if you don't know who Emmett Till was, like, his murder was, all of these murders are, like, gruesome and absolutely disgusting, but Emmett Till's is very, like, traumatizing. Like, that's, like, disrespectful. They were trying to sell the 3/5 stickers, but they were saying that the select people can't even get food, basically. Then they joked, guys, when is White Supremacy Month? And then another girl in this group chat said, I joined the KKK, forgot to tell all of you guys. Someone also said, how many people you think were cousins with Rosa Parks at our school? But that's just some of them. It's really gross. Lots of students of color were posting this. Students of color and some white students as well, because there are some great white students who are our allies who also want to see change in this country. So they were posting this too. This is not my post. She says, I am truly overwhelmed by the response I received on the post I made yesterday afternoon. So many students of all races are really trying to reach out, learn, grow, and make Tulane a better campus. I don't want people seeing the post to make generalizations about Tulane's community and Tulane's Greek life. Obviously, as it is at most PWIs, we need to work on diversification of both, especially seeing Greek life makes up 42% of campus and a large amount of Tulane's social life. But people do care and do want to know how they can help, and it's heartwarming. More than anything, we're looking forward towards at our President Fitz at Tulane for some response. We've spoken up, why haven't you? And then they responded, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Tulane University takes acts of hate, racism, and violence extremely seriously. After a thorough investigation conducted by Tulane's Office of Student Conduct, it was found that these text messages occurred in 2016 when the student in question was in high school. At the time, her high school investigated and determined that her phone was stolen and the texts were written without her knowledge. The author of those texts, who never attended Tulane, was disciplined at the time by his high school. None of the other students involved in this group chat ever attended Tulane. That's unacceptable. That's not valid, honestly. If you are making excuses, like, you're condoning this behavior. If you're saying, oh, her phone was stolen, that is her responsibility. Keep up for your phone. Are you kidding me? I would not let someone take my phone and write derogatory statements. Are you kidding me? No, I do not believe that BS for 1 minute. Tulane, stop protecting your white students and hold them accountable for their actions. And there's even people who are friends or who were friends with this girl, or who were in her sorority. I believe she got kicked out, but I don't know. Who were in her sorority are even saying that she still continues to say stuff to this day. Clearly, Tulane needs to do a better job investigating. First of all, if Tulane knew about this in 2016, why was this girl ever admitted to this school? Because clearly our values are not the same. What I see is so many people who are making racist comments are gonna be like, my phone was stolen, I never wrote them. My friend did. If you're not holding people accountable, then this isn't going to change anything. She's responsible for her own actions, and, like, no one is buying that her phone was stolen. Like, Tulane, come up with a better statement than that. No one is buying that, and you even have her old friends telling you that is not true. Like, come on, Tulane. Stop with your shenanigans. Like, we're tired of this. This is disgusting. Oh, also, there are students who are doing these performative acts. Like, they'll be like, Black Lives Matter, and, like, post so much stuff. But yeah, on their private story, they would be calling, like, their friends the N-word and making jokes, like lynching, and how the police should be killing these thugs. Like, no. Like, we are going in the wrong direction. This is 100% true. Everything you love about New Orleans is because of black people. Please explain the demographics of Tulane then. Like, Tulane's population does not represent the population of New Orleans. Like, if you look at Tulane demographically, they're either from the Northeast or from California. And they're white. We love that. And what disgusts me about Tulane And like, don't get me wrong, I understand New Orleans is like a predominantly black city, but it disgusts me to see black like workers picking up after these white kids, the white students taking food from them, and like, I just don't see the respect. Like I get it, but I don't. Like, I don't like that at all. Like, it really like is a pet peeve of mine. Like, there's white students who just like disrespect them, and I'm like, Tulane wouldn't be Tulane without them. Like, we don't have a lot of black professors. Like, I've never had a black professor, but like, if you think about it, like the cleaning staff, like the food staff, like kind of like essential workers, like they are black. Like the people who like drop and pick you up from the airport, the people who were taking you to Mardi Gras parade, like they were all like black people, and like the respect is just not given. And I really do not like that. I just don't like seeing so much white around campus and then seeing the white students just like taking the food from the black workers and like not even saying thank you or like acknowledging them. We're gonna look at Tulane University's racism by the numbers. 69.7% white, 7.9% African American, 7.2% Hispanic/Latino, 15.2% other. So Tulane tries to be like the Ivies, or like highly selective institutions. Like every year, like, oh, we had a whopping 13% acceptance rate, but like it's not adding up, because look at the graphs and how Tulane compares to Vanderbilt, Rice, and Emory. These are schools in the same caliber of Tulane, and like honestly, Tulane's just like embarrassing, honestly. So you're probably wondering, like, what does Tulane do with all their money? Well, I do have a friend who actually works in the president's office. Like, if like this one dude like stops donating, like, Tulane, it's gonna be broke. Also, stop calling my mother and asking for donations. Like, right now, tuition is your donation. That is my contribution to your school. So where do the funds go? I'm gonna estimate $55 million for the new Bruff. They spent so much money on that building and the food is still terrible. That should we estimate $35 million for business school expansion. Wow, I have class in Newcomb with a hole in the ceiling and water dripping. The business school is so nice, like, I wish. But and then the equity fee. So apparently the equity fee, this could be so wrong. I might be so wrong about this. Don't quote me on this, but like the equity fee like wasn't passed, I believe. It was like asking for every student to have an extra fee involved for like $250, and like anyone could use it. So like if you were trying to go to med school but you needed a tutor for the MCAT, you could use money from the equity fund. So it was for everyone. So it was like $250, and we paid $250 for the health center and Riley's our gym. I don't even go to Riley. So like essentially like that $250 was going to waste. And you know, when this first made the news, like the equity fee, so many white parents were like, no, not paying for that. I'm like, well, does your son Ryan really go to the gym? You're paying for that. Does Ryan go to the health center? Probably not. You know, little things like that. At the beginning of this video, I said Tulane didn't want me, and I'm still not welcomed at Tulane. Well, a brief history of Tulane. You know how like schools were supposed to desegregate, like with Brown versus Board of Education? Yeah, Tulane didn't do that because they were a private institution. Yeah, I know, right? Interesting. Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954 was to desegregate all public institutions and provide equal access to education for all people regardless of race, color, and ethnicity. I can't even say the dang on word, ethnicity. Since Tulane was a private institution, they didn't have to desegregate, and basically they were forced to desegregate in 1964, which they were trying to get a $6 million grant, but it was contingent to Tulane's desegregation. So basically, in order to get the money, they had to desegregate, and so they did. There's a fraternity on campus called Kappa Alpha. If you're black, you don't go there. They just represent slavery and like anti-blackness, so we don't do that. They love Trump though. When Trump was elected, they made a wall with sandbags and said, "Make America great again." Tulane, hold your students accountable. Like, why wasn't this dealt with? Honestly, if you're a student of color who is not white passing, please think about whether or not you do want to attend Tulane University. They are a school who clearly does not care about their students of color. Even if their students of color have money. Do they care about their students if they are athletes? That is questionable. I would probably have to ask my friends who are athletes, but that is also very questionable. I mean, you know, they are making money off of them. And, you know, I don't want to be a part of a statistic, you know, Tulane using like students of color for promotion and like exploitation. They're saying like every year they say this is the most diverse class. A vast majority of their diversity comes from the international students, and like oh my goodness, I don't even know how many international students are from like China, Taiwan, Japan, like the rich like Asian countries. Like, these are not people who like have scholarships to Tulane. These are people who are paying full price, and their parents are even paying more money. Also the athletes too, like that's a vast majority of our diversity. Basically there's a petition to go around to rename a vast majority of the buildings on a quad. They're all like promoting white supremacy, or like we're slave owners. And I lived in the dorm Willow, or like now it's called De Kulaba, and it was named after like the two first African American graduates from Tulane. They didn't want to rename Willow De Kulaba. They wanted to rename Herbert Hall because he was a slave owner. But you know, Tulane Tulane doesn't care. But for real, I'm actually serious. Like, if you are a student of color who is coming to Tulane in the fall, or who is thinking of applying to Tulane, like, just know your self-worth. And like, although Tulane is saying they're going to do all this stuff, like, don't believe it until there's action. Like, they're saying they're going to hold their students accountable, but like there hasn't been action. They say that they're going to donate money. What is that, like $100,000 for students of colors, like scholarship? Like, I don't believe it until I see it. I'm not going to be a statistic for you. I'm not going to contribute to your little 8% of African Americans because you need to be more diverse. Like, I'm not going to do it, honestly. Like, it's not fair to me, it's not fair to the other students. If they want to make this school more diverse, they need to be talking to the students of color and asking them, how do you want us to make this school more diverse? How can we support you? But we don't even have this support. And honestly, what is also disgusting, like, a multicultural center is getting moved to a building, like, it was in the LBC. But it's getting moved to a building that was named after a slave owner. That is like a slap in the face. Because like, if you think about it, like, what rich white school is named after Martin Luther King Jr.? Just think about it. And where are the streets called, like MLK Drive? Is that in the rich white neighborhoods? Anyway, I'm rambling now. But again, like, I'm actually like really serious. Like, if you are a student of color who is coming to Tulane, or who really wants to, or like is considering applying, like, reach out, like, let's chit chat. And like, I will really like give you the honest like tea. Like, I don't want anyone to like hate on Tulane. Like, it is a good institution for academics, but like there are things that they need to fix to make them a better institution. Okay, and I am done. Again, students of color, please think about it.